Merhabalar tekrar. Şimdi ikinci seansımız aslında, ikinci panelimize başlıyoruz. Bu panelin konuşmacılarından biri benim. Benimle birlikte bugün Nidal konuşuyor olacak. Nidal Barake. Ben konuşmama İngilizce olarak devam ediyor olacağım. Okay, I am now switching to English. I am going to speak in English today because together we are going to talk with Nidal about food marketing strategies, innovative ones. And this is why actually at the end we will be discussing about some issues so that I am going to speak in English, but you can have translator to understand what we are talking about in also Turkish. Okay. Now you know me actually. I am the manager of Due Table Agency, the agency organizing Turkish Cuisine 2.0 event. And today we are going to talk about both Nidal and me, about both food and marketing. And I am going to actually take this issue from a local perspective. I'm going to talk about food marketing, innovative food marketing strategies from a local perspective, and then Nidal is going to talk about these issues from an international perspective. So at the end, you will have the opportunity, the chance to compare all these strategies, and you will have a conclusion at the end, which we have also with Nidal, and it amazed us. I am going to say this in the beginning. I think you will have a similar conclusion also at the end. Okay, first of all, I am going to describe a little bit about food and marketing. I have been doing this business for 12 years. I am in this expertise actually. Since I graduated from the university, I am doing food marketing. As Funda İnansal, our founder, said that in the beginning. When I met Funda, I said that, okay, you have an amazing experience and knowledge in food. So what we are doing is food marketing. But she asked me about, okay, how we are going to describe this actual business to all our customers, all our industry. It was not easy at the beginning because it was then in 2012 and everybody was asking they were asking to us, well, what is food marketing? What kind of difference you have actually from the other agencies, like PR agencies and also creative agencies? Okay, our answer was clear. We said it is expertise. To make a specific marketing actually in a field, you have to have expertise because what you are going to do is content marketing at the end. With content marketing, you can create different strategies when you compare yourself and your industry to the other ones. And also, okay, it was not easy to tell food marketing at the beginning, as I said, but also it was not easy to tell what were innovative ones. So, okay, we tried to tell what was food marketing in the beginning, then the innovative food marketing strategies. So, okay, but I think we survived. So today we are here and we are talking about food marketing and we are organizing a food marketing conference here. During today, all day, we are going to just talk about food marketing and of course, the future of together with it. Okay, we are going to start with describing food. Okay, what is food? Probably you are going to have a lot of notions, a lot of concepts in your mind, on your mind. But okay, for me, food is not just an object. It's not just a pleasure or, social object, pleasure object, luxury object. It's not commodity, but it's a lot of things. It's not just one thing, but it's all of these things actually, because food is a very rich notion. And when I say food, in terms of benefits, you should think about benefits of functional benefits, emotional, social, and also sustainable. Because it's not just a social need, it's also not just a private need. It is a primary need for whole humankind to survive, actually. And when I say food, okay, I can relate food to different kind of notions, concept. Because why? Because food is a very emotional thing. When I say emotions, also to the scene, you have empathy. Emotions and empathy are very related to food. And when I say food, you can think about sharing, life, tradition, future, love, happiness, family, a lot of different notions and concepts. So at the end, food is a primary need for us. But it's not just because that we need to eat, but it's the answer for every primary thing we need in our lives. This is why we are calling food as primary need for ourselves. And then I'm going to describe a little bit marketing, but I'm not going to tell, that marketing from a perspective of 4Ps, 7Ps. No, it's not. I'm not going to make this description because for me, you cannot make an exact, actually, description for marketing because in every industry, you have different dynamics. And with these dynamics, you should change your strategies in marketing. But for food and also for other marketing strategies in different fields, there is one common thing for me. You should understand the customer. You should be in the shoes of the customers. So you should understand the motivations behind the customer needs, customer action. So the most important thing is understanding the customer actually in marketing. And also you should create an empathy relationship between food, your customer and you. And at the end, for me and for Due Table, when we are creating our strategies in food marketing, we say eat, pray, love. Because you have to, first of all, eat your product yourself. Then you should be grateful for this product and you should love the product you are making the marketing communication actually. At the end, you should be the #1 customer of your product and you should love it and you should love also marketing it. And also you should think about the occasion because we are going to talk about the occasions also in the next slides. Occasions are very important in food marketing and you should also experience and also see all the occasions your product is being consumed and you should be everywhere your product is being consumed. And at the end you're going to feed nations, you are going to feed communities, you are going to feed your customers. But when I say feeding, it's not just functional, it's also emotional, social, sustainable. At the end, when you are doing this feeding, you should also feed your own passion for marketing your product. Because as I said before, to be a good marketing professional, you have to love your product, you have to love what you're doing actually. Okay, from this description then I'm coming to the starting point where we are starting actually when we are making food marketing communication. Of course, is from the relationship between the consumer and food. Why I am saying relationship? I am going to tell this in the next slide, but you should also ask questions related to this relationship. It is a passionate one. It is a love or hate relationship. And what are the motivations behind it? Okay, as I said before, I'm not starting from product or price or place promotion, but I'm starting from the relationship creation, actually, a description of relationship in food marketing. Because all about is how you relate yourself to something. Then, actually, every story is created around the relationship. This is why then I am coming to occasions, because as I said before, occasions in food marketing is very important because we create some occasions in different environments. When I say environments, you can think about restaurants, supermarkets, and fields, a lot of environments. And these environments, actually different kind of occasions occurs also. We should understand these occasions. And from here, for food marketing, we have 3 elements. Relationship, story, occasions in different environments. And this takes me to consumer-focused integrated marketing communications. Okay, but of course you are going to now ask to me, but how are you going to get differentiated from the other products, other communication styles, or other brands? Okay, here, actually to the scene we are taking the innovative food marketing strategies. We have 6 strategies here. I am going to, first of all, tell about content. Content is the king. Of course, you are going to say content is the king because we are making content marketing here. But when I say I am doing content marketing, it is not enough actually, because just to know, have the knowledge, or be wise in our field is not enough. You have to know how to make use of this knowledge in your field. If you cannot make use of this knowledge in your field, then it's not, it's not necessary to know all this knowledge actually about these issues. You should have experience in different environments. When I say different environments, I mean, for example, restaurant. field, supermarket, or different kind of environments also. So you should understand the realities and difficulties of chefs, restaurant operators. If you don't know these realities and also difficulties, then you cannot make use of this knowledge in your field. You should customize this knowledge according to your occasions and environments with the realities and difficulties of occasions. Then from there, you are going to create unique stories, and these unique stories are going to create unforgettable experiences. I'm going to give you an example from my own career. I have been doing this business for 12 years, and I started to work with Funda 12 years ago when I graduated from the university. I'm a Bosphorus University management graduate, by the way. I had nothing with food or gastronomy in the university years. But then I had an internship in Unilever Food Solutions in 2012 and 11. Then we met Funda. And then, I spent a lot of time in the restaurants. With the chefs, in the kitchen also front house I had some experiences. For example, in 2015, I spent 3 days with Massimiliano Alaimo in Sunset's kitchen with his team for 3 days. So this is why I know actually what is happening behind the, curtains in the kitchen. So if I cannot understand this, then it is not possible to create strategies for restaurant marketing, for example. You have to be there. You have to understand them. You have to understand their difficulties and also their realities. And the second strategy is food community network marketing. Okay, we are always talking about this food community network marketing. You're going to ask me now, who is this food community? Actually, in this food community, everybody exists. You will see actually lots of people here, farmers, also gastronomy experts, chefs, restaurant owners, influencers, a lot of people. Some of them are your customers, some of them are your suppliers, and some of them are your supporters. But at the end, all of them are your spokespeople. So you should think about this very carefully, because how you are going to create this community will affect your communication also. It can work in negative way both, but also in positive way. So you should be very, very careful about this. First of all, you should know them better than you know yourself. You should create a unique relationship with each of them, and you should make them feel special with your relationship to them. And also, I think these two are very, very important. You should connect all these people in the same table. You should take them around the same table to create a real community. If you can make them talk to each other, then you are going to speak for you at the same moment together. So at the end, you will have a really loud voice, and it will work in positive way for you also. In addition, you should be a bridge between them. You should make the tables close to each other. I say emotions they are very important for food marketing, especially food. So taking the tables close, making these people feel close to each other, your community, is going to work in a positive way for you also. And then you are going to let them speak for you, of course. And third one. And develop by teaching, or you can say improve by teaching. It means that you have to improve your customers by teaching them. But this is not a teacher-student relationship. It's a kind of relationship. I always have this example. It should be in the way you're having a relationship with your neighborhood grocery. It should be in a tasty, beneficial, and also enjoyable way. And you can, tell a lot of things to your customer, but you should make them ready to understand what you are telling. They should understand your values, but for this, you should make them ready. So you can use different kind of techniques also, but for me, the easiest technique is your packaging. You should be very careful about your packaging, what you're writing on it, how are you designing it. It's the most direct way, I think, to teach the customer something. So you should always keep this in mind. And prosperity thinking, the other strategy. I don't like speaking about sustainability, because it's being spoken a lot. So what is the value in it? I don't know nowadays, because is it right when a company or when a brand is speaking about sustainability, how I am going to believe in them? But we should take this issue from another perspective, prosperity thinking. When I say prosperity thinking, it means that you should think about the needs of the humanity and nature at the same time. It's really very important. I think we lost the presentation. Okay, but ben devam ediyorum. When the subject is food, the prosperity is all about nature and also humanity, by the way. It's animals, plants, humanity, sea, land, sky, air. You have to think about all the needs of these, actually, nature and humanity at the same time. Maybe nowadays we have to think about the nature first. I think it's clear, especially after the pandemic era. Now we're more focused, actually, on nature, and I think it's the right way now. And multidisciplinary thinking. Okay, I am doing food marketing. This is my area. I'm not going to say that. I am not going to make use of other disciplines. I have to make use of them. Especially, this is very related to young people because they have different passion zones in different areas. If you can make use of these disciplines, then you can enrich your marketing strategies also in food. Food can be related to anything you think. Art, fashion, linguistics, history, sociology, psychology, philosophy, literature, whatever you think. So this is going to make you enrich your strategies. So you should keep this in mind also. The last one, youth is the hope, youth is the future. Young people are very important for us. We have to think about them. In the first session, we talked about locality, local products, and local food. If we cannot take these notions, if we cannot take these subjects to young people, how are we going to have sustainable global and local ecosystems in the future? They have to accept these values and also this cuisine. So we have to find a way to speak to them, actually, in also traditional cuisine and different kind of, let's say, subjects in food. Their perspective is very different from us. So we have to understand them. Then we should create strategies according to them. And first of all, we have to keep in mind education. Education is very important for us because it's not just, after school education. It's in the school education. Here, big brands and important companies have a duty, I think. They should integrate these kind of subjects like local cuisine, sustainability, product, waste, into the curriculum of schools, like primary school, elementary, high school. Okay, nowadays we're having this in the university, but it should be in the first steps, like primary, elementary. And you're here seeing some logos. These logos are some initiatives abroad, and they're trying to take young people into the food system. They're trying to make them produce for food system. It's not just consuming, but also it's producing. So we need producers, young producers for food system, food ecosystem here also. We have to take this into the mind. And okay, this is going to be my last, actually, slide. What I would like to say that, okay, I try to describe, actually, food marketing in the way we are making our business also in our agency, in our company. And what I would like to say is that, first of all, whatever you do, you have to leave a taste in mind and in the heart, first of all. And if it is food, also you should have a taste on the palate. And for me, food marketing is not just design thinking, but it's prosperity thinking. It's not just I, but we. This is why we are saying togetherness. And this is why we are saying at the same time, around the table, together for the future of food. We have to create together, all together. And not just harvest, but breadth. When I say breadth, actually, what I'm trying to say is that if I'm going to eat a vegetable harvested in a field, it's going to give me a breath. So this is important for understanding the values of this ecosystem also. We are in a big ecosystem, so to create really right food marketing strategies for the future of food, we have to understand this ecosystem and we have to act together with this ecosystem. And for me, okay, this is the last thing, 0 is always bigger than 1. Because we can reset ourselves by the things we know. We can zeroize ourselves by the things we know. Creativity comes from here. Innovative food marketing strategies come from here. And at the end, I'm saying we can change everything by the creative way of thinking, innovative way of thinking. By food marketing, we can, at the end, have a more sustainable nature and happy community. And thank you. Teşekkürler. Okay, now, okay, I'm inviting Nidal here, and he's going to make a very similar presentation, let's say, but it's going to be with a international perspective, and he's going to have a surprise for you. Yes, a very big and beautiful surprise. Yes, and now I'm leaving the stage to Nidal. At the end, we will have a little discussion together.
Thank you,
Thank you, Nick.
Well, first of all, my name is Nidal Barake, founder of Gluttonomy. I'm, long story, I'm Venezuelan Lebanese, based in Miami, spending summers in London, but I guess that's normal these days. Thanks, Merve, Funda, the team for Do Table for inviting me. And I was mentioning, we run a marketing agency, food marketing conference in Miami ourselves. And it's very inspiring to see that across the world, see such a big group of like-minded professionals with the same interests. So it's very inspiring also for me to be here talking about something that I'm so passionate about. So following up on Merve's presentation, we're going to go probably, I would say it's like a checklist of things that you have to take into account when building an innovative food marketing strategy. And so basically, we're going to go with some basics and then, again, like some checklist of things that we consider when doing a marketing strategy with some examples, some of our clients, some of the industry that we really like. So basically, and this might be overdone, no matter the size of the client, the type of the brand, if it's a restaurant, if it's a CPG brand, we always start with why. Because that will give us the basics for all that comes later in terms of communication. After we define a strong why, we build the value proposition. So with the value proposition, we create what's the purpose of that brand. Again, it could be a chef, could be a restaurant, could be a CPG. And we make sure that that why, that value proposition is communicated across all the channels. And with that value proposition, we build a strong brand ID. And again, make sure that every element of your brand is connected to that value proposition, like every color that you choose for the brand, the logo, the taglines, even the fonts need to reflect what's your value proposition and your why. And then create a brand persona that really reflects that value proposition and stay true to that brand persona, because that brand persona is what's going to get your message across all channels. And I'm going to give in different examples of the points that I'm explaining. And one brand that I respect a lot is Omsom from New York, that reflects very well what's a brand persona and what's the value proposition. So Omsom is a brand of prepared meals and condiments. It's founded by two Asian girls, and they are very loud, very on your face, very pride of being Asian, and that's reflected throughout all their brand elements. It's reflected on the logo, on the packaging, on their messaging, on their graphic design. So this is a great example how something that's so theoretical like a brand ID can be reflected in your different channels. So again, make sure that your brand persona and your value proposition is reflected on everything that you do. And when we're going to start talking about what to do to build that strategy, and some years ago we ran a series of interviews with chefs, food writers, food professionals, and we asked them, what's innovation? And some you can check on our Instagram, Gluttonomy. You'll have to go back some years. But one definition that really stuck and we use a lot is from Massimo Bottura, who most of you might know who he is, a chef from Italy. And he mentioned the principle of know everything, but then forget everything. So we're going to see a little video about this principle.
This is Massimo Bottura from Italy. What is innovation for me? Innovation is to know everything and forget about everything. First of all, to know everything, because you have to travel with your eyes and ears open in every single corner in the world and understand and learn technique, ideas, absorb culture from the other. Then forget about everything. So in the moment you forget about everything, there's an earthquake of creativity, and you create something that has never been created, or evolve something that has been created before, but you bring everything in a contemporary mood. So this is what is innovation for me. Bye guys, study a lot and work hard, because the secret of success is a lot of work, hard work every day, and a little bit of talent. Ciao Nidal, ciao everyone.
So based on that principle of know everything and then forget everything, it gives us like a white canvas where we can start creating a really innovative marketing strategy. So now we're going to go through, again, it's like a checklist of things that we consider when building this strategy. And the first one is understand your audience. And when we talk about innovation, sometimes we want to create innovation for the sake of it. So, I don't know, the tech team will say, oh, let's create like a virtual reality application with augmented reality. And I mean, you have to first think what they want and how that adds to the actual campaign, no? So through market research and customer segmentation, understand what their clients want, what your consumers want, and also identify niche markets so you can align those strategies. And when I say we're going to talk about it throughout the presentation, there's no like one size fits all strategy anymore. Like with so much data, so much information going different ways, every time we need like a more segmented, even personalized strategy when we think about how we're going to approach our consumers. So one example about, well, actually three examples about that is there's been a peak in the taste of consumers about spicy. No? Spicy is very common in Indian, Mexican, some other foods, but it's become more and more popular. So 3 brands have jumped on that trend, knowing their customers, and developed brands or products that have the spicy components. For example, Pringles does a sriracha chip. Momofuku with Raka, they launched Chili Crunch chocolate, which is amazing. The other 2, I don't love them, but this one in the middle, I'm a huge fan. And Lay's developed a kimchi noodle flavor. So again, know your customer, know what they want, and develop a product that satisfies that need. And speaking about that, create always a pipeline for product innovation. Develop and introduce new products and flavors to keep your offerings fresh in the market, and consider always trends. Actually, this afternoon, there's an amazing talk by Bea about future food trends and how they're shaping what we do. So I'm sure there's going to be more information on that. But doing those innovations is also, even for brands that are super established, it's a good way to keep the conversation ongoing with their audience. And might be sometimes like a marketing gimmick or like a test, but still gets a lot of press, gets a lot of word of mouth. So Coca-Cola a couple of years ago launched Starlight, which is, they marketed it as the flavors, like intergalactic flavors. And nobody knows what intergalactic flavor is. So it was more like a marketing prank to launch a new product and engage and give people something to talk about. But more down-to-earth strategy include, of course, jumping into the sustainability train, which I don't think it's a trend anymore, and I don't think it's it's a marketing tool that you need to explode. I think it's basic. It needs to be there. So it's not, you're not going to be differentiating yourself by being sustainable, but you can be out of the market if you're not. So it was a trend, but now I think it's a must. And this is an example from Burger King. Again, I bet the real burger doesn't look anything like this, but this is a plant-based burger by Burger King where it had cheese, meat, bacon, but everything plant-based. The other interesting component is to leverage technologies. And we have so many technologies available these days, and sometimes we get overwhelmed on what to use, what not to use. Again, know your audience and be very down to earth in terms of what technologies you use. For example, something obvious, amplify your digital tools. It never gets old. Social media, email marketing, and so on. As far as you use it on the right context with the right audience, it still works. Every time we have more data, so data-driven decisions can also make a big difference. And personalized marketing, as I mentioned before, the more data we have, the more we understand our audience, and the more we can do actions to respond to that segment. And a very nice example is Heinz mixer. This was launched earlier this year in Chicago, and the Heinz mixer, what it does, it has like a base of sauces and flavors. So basically anyone can go into that machine, pick the base, pick the combination of flavors that you want, and the machine dispenses a cup of that flavor. And you can create more than 200 flavors with this machine. And like Alan mentioned, I'm gonna take the liberty of reading this because I think it's on point. He said it's more than a sauce dispenser. It's an insights engine and business model enabler that will help Kraft Heinz understand and respond to consumer trends and flavor preferences in real time. Who knows? Maybe our next new sauce combination will come from a super fan doing it. So the beauty of this is you collect, one, you have the preferences of the consumer. You collect data, and with that data, you can use it to develop new products or feed the pipeline of new product development. It's a lot of innovation in terms of, imagine, this is destined for food service. So imagine you go to a Burger King, to a Five Guys, to a McDonald's, and then instead of having ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise, you have this machine and you can put the sauce that you want in your burger. It understands the audience, and actually you provide customized products. So it clicks all the boxes for when we talk about innovation and product development. Of course, all this, as I mentioned, sustainability is not a decision anymore. It's not an option. I think you have to be there, otherwise you're out of the market. And when we talk about sustainability, of course, there's many aspects of it. You can talk about sourcing, what packaging are you using, what are the production methods that you or your vendors are using. Be transparent about your ethical practices and initiatives. Use blockchain to track how you source your ingredients, and incorporate community involvement into your practices. And this is a result of how the market works now. Before, you could get away with anything, but now consumers have so much access to data, and they make educated decisions of what they want, especially younger generations. Again, if you're not taking care of the environment, if you're not sourcing responsibly, they won't even look at you. So that's a power that now consumers have that you have to take into consideration. And two examples of this trend, and there's so many. Again, there's a brand called Banana that upcycles unwanted bananas from like supermarkets and everything, especially in the US. You go to the supermarket and you see like if the banana is not like perfectly shaped, yellow, without any black spots, people won't buy it, even though it doesn't taste like anything. But they take all these unwanted products and they upcycle them and convert them into snacks. And that, even though most of this innovation happen with startups, there's big companies that are also creating sustainable practices, and when they do it, the footprint is much bigger. So, for example, Bombay Sapphire, the the distillery. They have a new plant in the UK that is 100% green certified. All the energy is generated internally. And also all their botanicals, more than 10 botanicals that they use, are organic certified. So even like a high-end brand like Sapphire that you would think is not relevant to be sustainable, they are also jumping into that trend. And Merve talked about content is king. I'm not going to go too deep on this one, but we've been talking about content is king for a while, and guess what? It's still relevant. That's not changing. Actually, I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. So create engaging and informative content through blogs, social media, to keep your audience engaged. Focus on storytelling and encourage customers to also tell their stories, because user-generated content, again, is becoming bigger and bigger. And two great examples of this is HelloFresh, who's basically in the US and the UK. Most of their recipes that they publish in their site are user-generated. So, of course, they have they produce content themselves, but most of the recipes that they use and promote are user-generated, and that's a great tool to also communicate engagement from the audience. And another campaign that we love, we didn't do this one, with Heineken, I invite you to search it, Heineken the Closer. So building on storytelling, everybody's talking about life-work balance and how important it is to disconnect. So they made this fictitious product, which is an app that technically when you open a bottle of Heineken, it shuts down all the computers, telephones, and everything. So you have the opportunity to interact with your friends, with people around you. So it's very nice because something that's so simple, like you open the bottle, everything shuts down. So it tells you how, by having a beer with your friends, you are disconnecting from work and having life-work balance. So it's a very smart way to do some storytelling into a campaign. And we always talk in the agency how we bring brands to life. Because again, one thing is how you communicate, but the other thing is how consumers perceive your brand or live your brand. So when the opportunity is there, try to use experiential as a tool to not only connect with your audience, but letting them create their own moments with your brand. So at the end of the day, it's not going to be about you. It's going to be about them and how they choose how to relate to your brand. So a couple of campaigns that we've done with Nestlé Premium Waters. One of those is San Pellegrino. I guess you've seen them, what we call the ISDs, like arancata and arancata rosa, which is like a soft drink, but now they have like less sugar, and they wanted to appeal to a more high-end adult audience. So we created a spritz bar. So we developed like a series of recipes with San Pellegrino ISDs, and it was a moment not only like, even though the product is just you open a can and you drink it, but through a spritz bar, we let people experience the product in a different way on of course, the weather allows those Venetian or Tuscan afternoons with the sunset. So it created a moment for consumers to enjoy something as simple as a drink that comes in a can on a more elevated way. And another example is Essentia. It's alkaline water in the US. I don't think it's available here. So Essentia, their claim is to stay hydrated and for people to stay hydrated to achieve their goals. So what we did is we let people communicate what are their goals, put them in a board, in a big activation or something, and the claim of the brand is, this is your goal, you achieve it, and we'll be with you, we'll accompany you through the process, keeping you hydrated. So a very simple product like water, still connected with the consumers by connecting with their goals and letting them share their goals. And I think this is the last one. Collaborations and partnerships are also key, and they're becoming more and more common and popular. Like when you see two brands collaborating, into a specific product for a limited time. So connect with similar brands or create partnerships with lead creative offerings where you can share marketing efforts between two brands, or connect with influencers, chefs to create new products. And I'm going to give some examples of this, and not necessarily they should be like two food brands. There's different examples. So here's a dessert from Osteria Gucci. So Gucci partnered with Massimo Bottura and their team, and they created Osteria Gucci in different cities. They have LA, Tokyo, Firenze, Seoul. So basically, two luxury brands partnered to create an experience to the consumer. And they are very, very connected in terms of values. Another example that I love is Heinz with Ed Sheeran. So Ed Sheeran, not many people know, but Kraft Heinz found out that he has a ketchup Heinz tattoo in his arm. So he's a big fan of ketchup. So, and he always, when the brand approached him, he said that he always wanted to launch a spicy sauce. So Kraft said, okay, we'll make your dream come true. And they developed together this Tingly Teds, which is a hot sauce that launched in the UK. It was super successful, and they're launching in the US. So here's a CPG with a very famous artist partnering in creating a product. Another example, and as mentioned, doesn't need to be two food brands, but the idea is how, through partnerships, you can reach a broader audience. And a brand like Nike partnered with Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and they created Air Force One Ben & Jerry shoe. And guess what? Nike users, Nike brand lovers connected with Ben & Jerry's, and Ben & Jerry's lovers connected with Nike. So it was a very effective way of two brands that technically you would think they have nothing to do one another, they still found a place. And another probably more common connection is Pepsi. They launched a maple syrup flavored soda in partnership with IHOP. And again, IHOP is a big pancake chain in the US where everything is about the maple syrup, so they partner into this product. And the last one, what about AI? Everybody's talking about AI. How can I incorporate AI into my strategy? So I did, okay, let me ask ChatGPT what he or she or it thinks about, or they, about AI. And of course, ChatGPT selling itself as the big thing gave me all these like 15 ways that we can integrate AI into our marketing mix. I'm not going to read them all, but you see there, use algorithms to predict future trends, visual recognition, content generation, fraud detection, and so on. So according to ChatGPT, you can use AI in so many ways. But remember, Massimo said, you have to forget everything to start innovating. And AI doesn't forget anything. So at the end of the day, it's a tool, but I think natural intelligence is more effective in this type of strategy. So thanks a lot.
Much, Nidal.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, when we saw each other's presentation together, we talked with Nidal and we said that, okay, they're very similar in terms of creative way of thinking. Because also at the end of my presentation, I said 0 is bigger than 1, and Massimo said that know everything but forget all about that. So at the end, the creative way of thinking is very similar all around the world, but I would like to ask a question to Nidal actually. In Turkey, what we're doing actually nowadays is generally using the local values in a right way. When I say local values to make the change in terms of creative way of thinking, it's not just local products or local cuisines, etc., but also local values. So I am curious about how it is, going on in the United States, because your company is based in Miami.
Yes.
So what kind of local values are you using for making your marketing strategies different, actually?
Yes, and we're based in Miami, but we work with usually national campaigns and sometimes international. But the message is there, and also you mentioned it. That's our experience in our agency. Sometimes, especially when we work with multinational brands like Kraft Heinz or Nestle Waters or Stella Artois, the brand strategy comes from headquarters, and you need to adapt it to the local market. So, and maybe taking into consideration the way it wasn't on purpose, how I broke the presentation in two. So the why, the value proposition, the brand persona, that comes from the brand. We cannot create a new brand persona just because I'm going to launch a new flavor of ice cream
Yes,
or anything.
actually, we're talking about marketing communication part of it.
Exactly. So that should stay the same, and if you change it, you wouldn't. I mean, you probably revise it every 5-8 years, but then all the rest is local. Listening to your consumers and identifying what they want, gathering data and how that data affects how you communicate. We always run A/B tests with everything that we do to see, like, even something as simple as 2 social media posts or 2 ads. I mean, it's very easy to do, very cheap to do. Run 2-3 options and see what gets a better response. And also, if it allows, like, try to develop flavors or products for local markets, and that happens also a lot with big brands, where you have specific flavors to attract one specific demographic. Also, there's a very nice movie called Flaming Hot by the director is Eva Longoria, and it's the story how Frito-Lay's developed the Flaming Hot flavors, and it was developed by a Mexican in California who wanted more spicy flavors in their chips, and that's how they came up with that flavor. So it's very important to listen to your local community. Search. I mean, there's empirical knowledge, but also there's a lot of data involved, and create those strategies. So the last mile, it always needs to be localized by what your audience wants.
Then, as a last word, we can say that for food marketing, not just for food marketing, but creative marketing strategies actually is always the same everywhere, all around the world. What you should do is very clear, but you can actually add value by using local values in your marketing communication strategies.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Nidal,
No, thank
for
you.
being here also, sharing
Thanks.
this
Thanks
stage.
for the invite.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Teşekkürler. Nidal, foto.